Hey guys, it's Jen Ferguson here with Artistic Painting Studio, and today we are going to take a simple baseball cap, one of my absolutely favorite new foils, which is our Easton tooled leather, and we are going to transform this baby. Hey guys, we are ready for another fun ball cap. And oh my gosh, this is screaming yellow, okay? But it is going to be fun, and I think it's going to be a great base coat color for the Easton tooled leather. I'm so excited. Okay, we're going to get started on this. And not only am I plan on doing the bill of the cap, but I'm also going to go ahead and do this panel as well. So we're going to get started with that. And our first product that we're going to be using is our Artsyville Embellishments Bondo. I have grabbed the clear. Gosh, is that in focus, you guys? I feel like, okay, maybe down there. Okay, so Bondo clear. Want to make sure you guys can see that. And I am going to just go ahead and open this jar. And the first thing I always recommend, if you haven't used your Bondo for a while, is to make sure to give it a really good stir first, okay? So I'm just grabbing a stir stick. We're going to stir this up a little bit. Make sure there's no separation. I don't always see it so much with the clear, but oh, I really see it with the black and the canvas white and the white. So just kind of double check, okay? And make sure. Okay, I'm going to go against my normal principles of not working out of the jar, but I feel like we're going to go through a little bit of this, so I'm just going to leave the jar open and go for it. Okay, the Bondo Clear is being applied for the reason of we're trying to make the fabric non-porous, okay? Because we're going to be using our foils, our foil adhesive, and if we don't seal it first, our foil adhesive will soak in and will not provide us with a good foil release, okay? So that is the reason behind using the Bondo. Now, if I wanted to change the color of the hat, I could grab our Bondo white, off-white, canvas white, white, or black, okay? And I could have changed this color or this section to a different color to work on. But I thought the yellow was actually complementary underneath the Easton tooled leather. So we're just going to go for it. So this will take a little bit of time, but make sure that you are being generous with the material, okay? Don't be frugal with your Bondo, and get a really good coat on here. Being that this is just a fabric material, I might even put a second coat on, but I'm going to wait and determine how it feels after it's completely dry. The bill part has cardboard or something in there to give it stability, and I feel like one coat normally works okay on the bill section of the hat. This is just fabric here, so there's nothing behind it to give it any more stability or from soaking in anymore, so we might just go for a second coat. Nothing, I mean, for no other reason other than the fact that if we have two coats on there, we're most likely guaranteed to have a better foil release, okay? So it's just going to be kind of like an insurance. But like I said, we'll check it out after this layer goes on, it completely dries, and we'll critique it. So this will definitely take you a few minutes to get done. You don't have to do the top section of the hat if you don't want to. You can just do the bill of it. You can always just do the top or the top and the bottom. I think it's kind of fun that there's foil and color in all three places, but your project, you choose whichever works best. We'll also have links in the description for all the products and materials, along with a link from where I get these ball caps. Mainly, I've always ordered on Amazon, but we'll put some links in here to help you guys shop for them if you're looking for some great ball caps, okay? So let me just double check, make sure I got the whole top section done well. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. It changes the color a little bit with the Bondo clear being that it goes on milky white. So it does kind of help to make sure you can see what parts you've done and make sure that it's sealed. And you can tell it has changed the color a little bit. We'll actually darken it. So when it's dry, it'll probably be a little bit darker than the rest of the hat. Okay, so we're going to start now onto the bill area and get this done as well. I like to try to prep everything at one time if I can. I just put the hat on a hanger and just let it hang dry. You will want to allow this layer, okay, the Bondo clear, to dry overnight. Don't try to push the process, because if you don't let it thoroughly dry, it's not going to be great when you go to put the foil adhesive on, and you might have some issues with the foil adhesive. So just be patient. I know that's a hard word, okay, but be patient and let this dry overnight before you go to that next layer. Okay, so I'm going to finish this up. Once I'm done, we're going to go ahead and let it dry, and we'll be back for more layers. Okay, our first coat of the Bondo Clear is completely dry, and you're just going to have to take the time to critique and determine if there's enough coverage on here or not. Some of the different fabrics that they use to make the hats are going to have more texture or less texture. This one actually has a little bit less than one of the last ones that I was working on, but I'm going to go ahead and put another coat of what I'm going to say is going to be an insurance coat, and just give myself a little bit more coverage in these two areas. I know this side is fine. It's a totally different fabric, and it is sealed well. So we're going to go for the second coat. And if you don't mind, if you get a little bit of what I would call a distressed look, then you can definitely go forward to the foil adhesive after the one layer of Bondo. I am going to try and get as great of coverage as I possibly can with my foil release. So I am definitely going to go ahead and put the second coat on so that there's a better chance that my release will just be better. So it's going to depend on the foil maybe that you're working with, or just the look that you desire. There's nothing wrong, okay? They're both a great look. It just depends on what you are looking for. I've done some that came out distressed and absolutely love the look of them, but that was also what I was going for. And this one we're going to be using the Easton tooled leather, and I really want to try to get 100% coverage or close to it. So second coat for insurance, okay? Okay, we're going to put this back on the drying rack. I'm assuming it's probably not going to take 24 hours for this layer to dry, just for the fact that it shouldn't be soaking completely in to the fabric with the one coat already on here, but we will definitely wait till it's completely dry before we go to our next layer. So we'll be back after a little bit of dry time. Okay, everybody, our second coat of Bondo Clear has dried, and we've got really good coverage. This has definitely made it pretty stiff, okay, which is good because that way we're going to get a great transfer on that area of the hat. And the next thing we're going to do is grab our foil adhesive. If I get my hand off the label so you can see everything, and put on a coat of the foil adhesive. Okay, with this hat, because we're going to wrap our foil across the top and across the bill, which is going to cause it to go in a couple different directions at one time, I'm actually going to put the foil adhesive on the top section of the hat and the underneath of the bill and do those two sections first. And then once that foil is transferred, then we'll come back and do the top of the bill. It's just too hard to make it bend in every direction at the same time. So I have put some of the foil adhesive out onto my sticky plate, which just makes it easier to grab it with your brush. And again, you do want to put on a nice generous coat and make sure you have full coverage so that you get the best foil transfer you can get, okay? Remember, we're working on fabric and we're trying to get this to be sealed well enough so that we can get a good transfer of our foil. So take your time. Again, I'm just brushing without taping anything off. So you want to be careful with your brushing so you don't get it anywhere you don't want it. The foil adhesive goes on milky white, as you can see, and will dry completely clear. This will normally take at least 30 minutes or longer before it does clear out, but I really want you to wait at least a couple hours on this hat, okay? The foil adhesive will never dry beyond a firm tack. It doesn't matter how long you leave it, but you're better off to leave it and let it dry longer than shorter, okay? Okay, I'm gonna have to be careful on this edge. Whew. Even though, like I said, in 30 minutes it's probably going to be completely cleared out, but definitely give it more time, especially if you're working in the winter on your projects. It takes longer for everything to dry during our winter months. Okay, we're almost done with the top section. Again, just make sure you got that nice generous coat on there. Our double coat of Bondo, though, should help it from not soaking in. So we should have a really good tack on this when we're ready to transfer. Okay, I'm going to carefully flip this over and try to get the bottom section of the bill, because at least I can get two areas foiled at the same time. This definitely takes it a little bit longer in the process because I'm isolating those sections, so it'll just be easier to foil. So you'll have an extra day on trying to get this project done. Now, if you only do the bill itself, top and bottom, and not the top of the hat, you can definitely do both sides on the same day. But when you get to the actual top of the hat, it just makes it more challenging. Okay, we're going to go hang this up someplace safe. We'll be back when it's dry and ready to foil. Okay, guys, we are back to work on our gorgeous hat here. And remember, I've only put the adhesive on this top section and the underside of the bill because it's kind of difficult doing this part and this part together, okay? So let's do the top first. And the one thing that we can do is kind of determine which direction we want to see the foil. Okay, if we want to go this way, I think I kind of like this section here. And see how well we can get into the position. Okay, it's going to wrinkle because it's curving. Okay, so there's no way to avoid that. But let's go ahead. And I'm using a piece of parchment paper. I like either parchment paper or wax paper to put down. So remember, the back side is sticky as well. But we can do, just to make sure that nothing else gets on that area, let's go ahead and place our foil on that side as well, okay? Okay, now I can flip it over and I don't have to worry about anything getting stuck or, or stuck to where it shouldn't be, okay? So now it's time to scrub. And I'm using a really stiff toothbrush. I'm also trying to give a little bit of resistance with my hand on the back side of the hat. And see if we can get this scrubbed on super well here. I feel like I did pretty good on that side, not getting too many wrinkles. This side I definitely got some wrinkles, but most of the time in the end, you don't see all those. Okay, so let's start peeking, okay? Seeing how it's releasing. And if we have any place that it didn't release, let's get that section of the foil right back there, okay? And scrub again. Okay, let's see. Yep, that pulled in there. Okay, against my stitching edge over here. Okay. And as well on this side. So pull back just a little piece at a time of the carrier so that you can critique as you're going. You can see if there's anything that is not releasing well, and then go back and try to get the foil to release there. Okay, so where I have my wrinkles on this side, I'm probably going to have to reposition the foil a little bit to get those to cover up, okay? Not bad at all. This is actually coming off super well. And even with my wrinkles, I feel like this is doing really, really super well here, okay? And you see how slow I'm pulling it back? Take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Don't rip it off like a Band-Aid real fast, okay? We need to definitely get some more scrubbing over on this side. Okay, and this last little corner down here. Oh my gosh, that looks absolutely stunning, okay? Few spots where it didn't completely transfer, but it just adds, I think, a little bit of character. So let's go ahead and flip over to the underside of the bill and get this transferred. you can use a toothbrush as I'm working with. You can also use a nail brush, okay? Sometimes when you're a little bit larger surface, but I just feel my toothbrush gets in here and just scrubs, I think, a little bit easier or better. But use whatever works for you. The stiffer the bristles, the better it's going to transfer, okay? Okay, look at that. That is looking so awesome. And the yellow is a beautiful color underneath our Easton tooled leather. Okay, so if you get what we call a little bit of over release, okay, where I had a little bit of a fuzzy edge, okay, you can just go ahead and use your toothbrush to scrub that off. And I had a little bit on the top as well on this side, okay? Okay, so we want to finish it off. So I'm going to go ahead and put our foil adhesive down on this one section, okay? So again, we are using Artsyville Embellishments foil adhesive. And let's find a good brush here, okay? I'm going to take some out as always. Put it onto my sticky plate. And that way I get that container closed back up. Okay, so all we're going to do is brush it on the top side. And definitely want to be careful. Make sure you're not getting the foil adhesive anywhere you don't want it. I'm going to make sure I've got this edge so that we can get the front and the back side to come together. And remember, be generous, okay? You want to make sure you get a nice, gorgeous transfer like we just did. I will let this dry for several hours and make sure it gets to a nice, firm, hard tack. And then we'll come back and finish this hat completely out. Now, you can always choose your design element on your own. If you don't want to do the top section, you just want to do the bill, you can do both sides at the same time. If you just want to do the top section and even just leave the bill, the natural hat color, there's so many options. And I have seen a lot of customers doing different things, which is just fun. So use your imagination and have fun with these projects. Remember, let this dry well, okay? Don't rush it. Okay, making sure I have this outside edge also with some adhesive on it, because remember, we want front and back to match up. Okay, we're going to go put this back out to dry, and we'll be back in a few hours when it's ready to go. Okay, guys, we just have the very last section to do. And I know this is not going to be by any means a perfect matchup, but I'm going to kind of try to work with that big foil in that same position, okay? And just get maybe some of it on there. Okay, so when you put on the foil to the front, okay, you got to make sure that you get the foil stretched out, okay, to both sides. And it really wants to pull. So sometimes it's best to go ahead and clip it a couple of times so that you can get it laying down the best you can. I'm definitely going to get some wrinkles here, and I'm going to have to work on that. So it might be better to transfer one side and then go back and transfer the other side, but I've already blown it, so we're just going to make it look the best we can, okay? The beautiful thing about this foil is it really does repair well, so we should be good to go. And I can see that the transfer I can see it releasing from the carrier sheet, so we should be getting an absolute fabulous transfer there, okay? So let's get over to this side that I didn't position it as well. But I think we'll still come out looking gorgeous. And if there is anything that didn't transfer as well as we had hoped, especially across this top area, that's always fun to add a little bit of a braid or extra detail. So that will be fine. Okay, and we've got a couple of sections here that I want to work on a little bit more. The edge. Okay, so if you pull away, remember how I said always only pull a little bit at a time, so you can line it back up, okay, and get those little sections. Okay, here's where I started to get a little bit of a crinkling, so I'm just going to take a little section of the foil, okay, let's just pull this piece off. It'll be easier to work with, and see if I can kind of match up color-wise for that little area. Oh, that turned out pretty. And then here as well, if I want to try and get some of those little areas filled in, there we go. Okay, guys, like I said, there's a little bit of an area right up across here that we didn't get a perfect transfer, but a little braid will be beautiful and finish off this hat. And I think this turned out absolutely stunning. So make sure to check the description below for a full, complete list of all materials and supplies. And do us a big favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming tutorials. Thank you, guys.